Happy belated Thanksgiving, everyone. Thankful for all you guys and just the opportunity to be here. Had a good week with spending time with the players and thankful that Dave gives us time to see family as well. We had a full house, so it was exciting to have family in town and then thankful for another week to get after it with these guys. These guys always click back in on Wednesdays and we're ready to roll.
All right, thanks, Coach. Start off with David Newton, followed by Mike Kay.
Hey, Coach, good to see you today. I wanted to ask you, obviously Andy was your quarterback before the car accident, and that changed everything. How have you seen his relationship with Bryce change or grow or anything since, Bryce has been able to hold on to the job since then?
Really going back to the spring, there's an obvious relationship that they have and respect they have for each other where ideas are continually being pinged off each other. And I don't think that's changed much, even as the context has changed from the beginning of the season to Andy playing to Bryce playing again. Those guys always have a dialogue going. Bryce comes to the sideline, he talks to Coach Harriger, talks to me, and Andy right there as if he's the third coach, and then Jack Plummer is always around too. So that we have a really healthy room that way where the dialogue's been consistent no matter who's, at the helm playing. You go back to the preseason, you see Jack playing too, and it wasn't any different. We got a good little group of guys right there on the bench, and then, after we're done having our concluding remarks, after Bryce comes off for a drive, he's usually standing out there with his QBs on the sideline, when we're moving on to the next thing.
And is Andy a guy that you think you'd like to see back next year just to continue this relationship with Bryce, the way they're building?
Yeah, I'm not really going to get into the future, beyond what we're doing this week. We love having Andy here. Andy's a great player and a great teammate, a great piece of this team. So, I'm supportive in any decision to have him, but, I'm not going to get into any of the personnel stuff. That's up to the guys upstairs.
Okay, one last thing then. What did you think that Bryce learned watching Andy?
I think a lot of the guys, not just Bryce, they just see, Andy's professionalism and his command. But Bryce had those elements already. He's done a great job, and then like I said, the dialogue that they continually have. Andy always brings him along with the years of experience he has, and just kind of. It's funny, we're always sitting in there. We have our iPads. A beautiful thing of modern technology is you can reference any play at any moment and say, hey, yeah, that experience, I had that, back in whatever, 2014, and you pull up the clip immediately. And then, Bryce, same thing, okay, maybe it was last year, or in Alabama, can pull up the clip immediately because it's all at our fingertips. So it's really fun to watch the whole room kind of come together and combine their experience and continue those dialogues. But like I said, it's equal. Bryce, Andy, Jack, Will Harriger, Berkovici's in there, Mike Berkovici's in there with us, Nate, Carroll, and Dave. So we have a really cool collection of a lot of different experiences where we can kind of reference whatever we need.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Hey, good morning, Brad. I think it's still good morning. Adam Thielen just got nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. I know you're his coordinator, but you guys are kind of contemporaries. You're around the same age. I'm just curious, from your perspective, as both a coach and as a guy who, has been around the game for a while, but is still kind of the same age as the player. How cool is it to see him get honored the way that he is, and what does he bring to this organization outside of football from your perspective?
Yeah. He was one of I know when I got the job, he was one of the first guys to reach out. You go through this whole list of a new roster and you're trying to call guys, introduce yourself. Hey, here's my number if we need to talk as we get things rolling. And he beat me to the punch. And he took me and my wife out to dinner. I think that was a really cool thing. He wanted to start the relationship. And I think he's like that with everybody in the building. We bring in, you've had a shuffling around of guys on the offensive side, the defensive side, and he's always trying to, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? What's your experiences? He's really in tune to the people in the building, no matter, what their role is. And I think that's just a testament to who he is. And that's part of his character that has kind of sprung him, with the football thing and trying to just push through being an undrafted guy, trying to earn his keep through special teams and then, being a successful player for years. Like, he's a big piece of our culture. Like, he represents a great piece of that with just, the high regards he has for the humans that he's around.
And then to follow up on that, what impact do you think he and David Moore have had on Jalen and X over the last, since May, I guess?
Yeah. They've seen different defenses, so they can talk about defensive coverage and the complexities of going against different coordinators. That's something you often don't see at the college level is just the different looks that you get at this level are a little bit more complex, in my opinion. And then so they kind of can breed that knowledge into them, but then also just experience with similar route schemes, similar pass concepts, and then the intricacies of the run game and what helps them, get good leverage in the run game and find their place. So Demo has been with us, in Tampa and then in Seattle. So he's got a long history with how we call things and kind of our tendencies as coaches on the offensive side. But Thielen has also, run plenty of similar concepts from, branches of the same tree when it comes to our pass game. So there's a lot of really cool. You talk about Andy and Bryce and all them referencing tape. Like, Thielen's the same way. He's like, I got to cut up with that. Like when we used to run that in Minnesota or we ran that last year, whatever it is, those things come to life. We're able to incorporate them into our full group meetings, but then you just know when you're standing on the sideline with him, he's imparting some of that knowledge and that experience to a guy like Coker.
All right, let's go to Darren Gant, followed by Joe Person.
Brad, when you look at Bryce over the last couple weeks, is there a particular throw or two that speaks to what he's gotten better at in the last month or so that you can kind of point to and say, yeah, there it is, that one right there?
I think you look down the stretch, you just see a number of them, right? Putting accurate throws out there with pressure. Pressure in his face, just standing in there and having confidence for his guys to win. He's done a phenomenal job, of elevating his game throughout the whole season and taking steps every week. And those have come up in some really, key moments down the stretch, which has been really fun to watch. Just the trust that he has in his guys, the reps that we've had, with his guys running the routes, and then also the protection up front, just giving him a chance to make those throws. Like that confidence and the decisiveness of putting the ball where he wants it and the guys being there just comes with the reps and the trust that he's developed over time with his guys. It's been really fun to watch.
He was talking yesterday about getting into that second play and what Will calls baller mode. I mean, what is it about him that makes him effective in that situation?
Yeah, Will Harriger, he claims that we install that play every week at Wednesday. It's the first play. Before I get into the room, he says we're going to install baller mode here. That's licensed to go ahead and activate baller mode above the 2.7 time clock whenever you want. So Bryce has done a phenomenal job, and what it does for us, it heightens the importance of putting guys into space, like having spatial awareness, but then also say the ball finds energy. When Bryce is, operating on that, if you want to call it the second play, a burst of energy, right, into space, understanding where other guys are so you can go occupy the open space in the defense, that clicks, and that sets Bryce's eyes to those spots, if that makes sense. So you look at Thielen's route at the end of the game, he's running over the middle of the field, there's a backer dropping underneath it, Bryce steps up, rolls out right, and Thielen bursts to the open space. And we try to incorporate to our guys all the time, like, we're putting you in spots where there's spatial awareness on the field, but that ball will find the energy. So if you burst into that space, that kind of catches the quarterback's eyes when they're scrambling around and dealing with pressure. And then that's when the big plays occur above the 2.7.
Hey, Brad, good morning.
Good morning.
Question about sliding and the quarterback sliding, and not Bryce's form or anything like that, but there's been some, obviously a lot of discussion this week after the Trevor play, and some suggesting, well, I mean, it's these late slides, quarterbacks, offenses trying to pick up late yards. How do you teach, how do the Panthers teach the slides and kind of when to do them and how early to do them to prevent Bryce and Andy and others from taking hits like we saw Trevor take?
Yeah, I think both sides of the ball. As a coach, you have to be aware that these are football reactions. So in the quarterback room, it's about a time and a place. There's a time and a place for us to dive forward and try to get the first down, whether it's fourth down or a gotta have it situation. Just like we talked, there's a time and a place to reach the ball for the pylon or reach the ball for the first down. We're trying to keep our thumb down on that at all times. So when it comes to the quarterback, we need them to understand what are those times and a place to try to get the 1 or 2 extra yards. Other than that, we want you to protect yourself at all costs. So when in doubt, we'll give up the 1 or 2 yards if it's not the right time or place to go ahead and be aggressive. But we're never coaching them to hold to the very last minute and then occupy your slide to run the risk of getting hurt. But we understand there's football reactions on both sides of it. So we want to protect them by just kind of putting in their head, whether it's pre-snap or just experience throughout the week of saying, this would be the proper time to be a little bit more aggressive. This would be not the proper time, and we want you to get down and protect yourself and live to see another down. And I really do think that couples perfectly with, when you have a running back, reaching for yards or a receiver reaching for yards, we say, hey, this is a gotta have it situation. We're okay with you being aggressive. All right. Otherwise, we want you to protect the ball and protect yourself and trust that we'll get the first down or the touchdown on the next play.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right, got time for one more. Let's wrap up with Alex.
Awesome.
What's up, Brad? I'm actually going to ask Bryce Young running related question as well, but a more general one. He is running the ball a lot more than he did his rookie year. I think I saw stats is like 18 scrambles for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, which is pretty good stuff. What is that a product of? Like, why is he feeling more free to run this year, do you think?
I think you couple a lot of that stuff with decisiveness, getting through your reads and canceling things out down the field. He's doing a great job of staying in there when we ask him to and getting through his full progressions. But the second the time clock goes off in your head and you're decisive, okay, now it's time to roll, he's got a real good comfort zone of when that is. And it's either try to extend the play for a scramble drill or scrambling forward, which I think has happened more times than not lately, scrambling forward with your eyes downfield. And if the defense isn't respecting you, he's been very decisive, just like he has in his reads, to just tuck it away and take what's given. So really coupling with him as a passer and a runner, like overall decisiveness helps with both feats.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Sweet. Thank you, guys. We'll see you.